Hi, Rex here. Today we're going to do a review on this Polygon D7. Now, thanks for finding my YouTube channel. It's got quite a few different things on it. We got some drones, drone racing, RC car racing, RC car engine videos, old stock car and drag racing videos. So it's got quite a few different things on it. It's just things I enjoy. Hopefully, maybe if you're just a bike guy, you could, if you see some of that stuff, and it's fun to look at too. So I was going to split up the stuff on the channel, but it just kind of all happened or whatever. So today we're going to look at this Polygon D7. This is my personal bike, not affiliated with Bikes Online or anything. So a little background on me. I haven't been into biking for over 35 years. In high school I raced BMX bikes, 20 and 24 inch, and did that for a few years, had some pretty good success, quite a few trophies, and really haven't been into biking since then. Really, we have bikes, you know, and we do ride occasionally. We go camping, we take them. One of the boys was in Scouts, and we did, you know, merit badges and stuff. But for the most part, haven't really been seriously into biking. My son's been into biking, road biking, for a few years, and he's been kind of looking into getting a mountain bike. His friends are getting mountain bikes. Some people we know together too from RC car racing. So he was going to get a good suspension mountain bike this year, and he kept sending me videos of places where I've been, like Fiji and New Zealand, and these epic downhill videos, and it just looked like so much fun. And I thought maybe later this year I'd look into getting something off Craigslist at the end of the season or something. But the more I saw, the more I got interested in it. And what kind of did it for me was we were hiking. My wife likes to hike, so we've done almost all the state parks in Minnesota. My wife's done them all. I've only done 6 less than she has. But so at one of the places we went hiking was Cuyuna in northern Minnesota, and it's an old mining area, and they made it into some bike trails. And after the hiking, we went to one of the places where they do the biking and just kind of saw, you know, just from the parking lot, the stuff. And it was, you know, the bank corners and, you know, the different things, and like I could see going to this a couple times a year, and I got to get a bike. And 2 days later, this was Memorial Weekend, 2 days later I ordered this thing. So before that I was looking at a hardtail. I kind of heard, you know, starting out you should get a hardtail, and I wanted something with good components. It doesn't have to be great, but good components, and I wanted something that would have good derailleurs. I don't want to skip gears, and we've all had cheap $200 bikes from, you know, department store, and they end up, you know, not shifting right, and so I wanted something. I was looking at, you know, a hardtail with an air fork and some good, you know, mid-level derailleurs. So I ended up, I was looking at the Vitus Cintiair. Was kind of the one I was kind of my go-to. Like, that's the one I liked. And of course, everything. This is 2020, and with coronavirus and stuff, everything was out of stock. Even Walmart didn't have any bikes. You know, not that I was like gonna get anything from there, but so I'd kind of been looking, and even that Vitus, it said notify me when it was back in stock. So who knows when that's gonna be, right? So I'm getting kind of antsy. So I actually saw a Bikes Online ad came up on Facebook. So Facebook advertising does work. I clicked on it to see what they had. I'd never heard of Polygon bikes, but I thought, well, I was looking at them, and I was actually looking at the D6 for $1,199, $1,199. Had, you know, air fork. It had some good components. I don't remember exactly what that one has, but that one was also notifying me when it was back in stock. But I looked at the D7, and it was a June 15th shipping date. You could pre-order it, and this is the 20-something of May, and it was like, you know, less than a month later it would ship. That, well, I can have that within a month or whatever. So this one was $12.99, and I was looking at the one with the dropper post too, but it's kind of over my, you know, I was kind of sitting on a $1,000 limit, so because I'm just getting back into this. So, well, this was kind of already over what I was looking at getting, and the one with the dropper post probably would have been nice now in hindsight, but we'll get a dropper post for this eventually. But looking at this bike, you know, with the air fork and the Deore shifting and, you know, an air rear shock, I was pretty impressed for the price. I'm like, this thing is, you know, it's as cheap as a good hardtail, and it's got decent components, and so I was pretty impressed with it. I'm thinking this has got, you know, this is at least a $1,500 bike. So the Polygon name I didn't know, but there's a, you know, I've been out of biking. I actually worked in bike shops, and right after high school I worked, when I was going to Votech, and worked in bike shops for a couple of years, and so I know how to lace a wheel. I know how to, you know, do a lot of stuff, but most of these things are totally different than when I was working in a bike shop. But so I know buying a bike from a bike shop is kind of the way to go, but I thought, well, I've worked in a bike shop before, I can put a bike together. So I ordered this thing Memorial Day, and it actually shipped, I want to say around the 8th or 10th. I actually got it before it was supposed to ship, so it was nice to have it come earlier than expected. So this is the box the bike came in. Everything had these, where everything was touching, it had these foam pads with Velcro around everything. It was easy to just take everything apart, easy to assemble. I know, you know, for some people, kind of thinking to put together a bike might be kind of a hassle. There is a lot of components. I used to work in bike shops, so I kind of thought, oh, it'll be a piece of cake. But actually, it took like 15-20 minutes. It was a matter of just putting the front wheel on. It was the 4 screws on the handlebars. All the cables were routed. All the cables were set up. So you just had to put the handlebars on, align them where you want them. Seat in the seat post, that's just a quick release. Put the pedals on. It was easy directions. But one thing about it I do want to go over, and I've seen a couple reviews on this, but I'll kind of tell you what I used for settings and where to find the settings for the fork and the rear shock. So it was pretty easy to set up. We had it came with this box. It even came with a torque wrench to torque. Well, the only thing you would need to torque is the front wheel and these hex drivers, and it came with reflectors and such too. But it was really easy to set up. All the derailleurs were set up. The bars were even straight. You know, it was very easy. Now it did take, it was raining the day I bought it. I was going to do an unboxing or whatever, but that would have been kind of useless or whatever. So I did do a little research after I had it together on the air settings for the fork. You're going to need a pump with a Schrader valve that goes probably over 200 pounds. So I got this, I knew that in advance, and I got this Fox pump for $30 to $35 on eBay. And there is an app available from Rockshox. Just look for Rockshox on your apps, and then you basically just put in your weight, and there's just a few things. There's a serial number on the back side of the fork, and you put that in there so it knows what fork you have, and put in your weight and what kind of riding you're doing and such. So it tells you where to start with the front. There's also a rebound adjustment on the bottom. And the rear shock, I had to go to, this is an XFusion shock, so I had to go on there and kind of look at some settings, how to set sag and such. So you got 45 millimeter travel, so you want around 15 to 17 millimeters sag when you're sitting on it lightly, or you know, don't bounce on it, just sit on it. So that was pretty easy. And then you can also adjust a little bit after you ride it. So I think I'm going to increase the pressures. I'm at 65 in the front with 1 click on the rebound, and then 220 or so on the rear shock. I'll just go through some of the specs, and like I said, it was by far better components on this than even hardtails and stuff that I was looking at. So that was kind of the selling point for me, was the specs. So it's got Boost XC frame, 120 millimeter travel front and rear. It's got tapered head tube. That's nice if you want to change out the fork. That's a Rockshox Recon RL Solo front fork. Like I said, 120 millimeter travel. The rear shock is an XFusion O2 Pro RL, and it's an external rebound and 2-position compression. So we'll look at everything a little bit closer after that. One thing that was important to me was a 1x, just a one front chainring. So it has a 1x11. It's Shimano Deore XT SLX drivetrain. MTB double wall wheel sets. I'll get the camera and show everything a little bit closer up. 5-year warranty on the frame. And this thing is at 30 pounds, which to me is pretty light for the price, and I think it's on par with, you know, most like a $1,500 frame. So we'll look at this thing a little bit closer with the camera here. Like I said, the Rockshox Recon. Here's it has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 different adjustments that be your lockout. The rear XFusion shock has a rebound adjustment here, and this is your lockout. The next step up on the XFusion shock has a couple more clicks for trail. Here's the Deore rear derailleur. It does shift very nice. I have been riding it, so it's not the cleanest. I did notice that the wheels, I wasn't sure when I bought it, but the wheels are actually offset. The spokes are offset for the rear derailleur, and then on the front it's opposite for the brake to kind of center things up. I wasn't expecting that. Here's where you would add air for the front shock. The pedals actually aren't even too bad for just what they come. It does have a access hole there for a dropper post. Tires are actually pretty good. Doing a little research, they aren't really for tubeless though, so we'll get some good use out of these first, and then we'll go tubeless on the next set. Doesn't have the quick release front, but this is kind of the way to go, is just the through axle. Here's the components are this entity, which is kind of their, I think it's Polygon's just brand, but I'm sure they're just rebadged, same as some other things. So here's the shifter. Shifter works pretty good. Someone else on a review said the shifter wasn't quite to their liking, but so as you can see, this thing's got some pretty good specs on it. The rears, I beat it. 46 is the biggest and 11 is the smallest there, so you got a pretty good range adjustment. 42 front tooth. The only thing I've added is the bottle cage. You're going to need a short bottle. You can't use the long one. It doesn't fit in there. And the side mount is actually kind of the way to go, being you can't really load it from the top. So I ended up getting a side mount bottle cage. This is a medium. I ended up going with the medium. The small comes with a 27.5. The medium comes in 27.5 or 29.5, or 29, sorry, and the large one comes with a 29. So I'm pretty impressed with the bike. Of course, I'm not really used to all the technology and stuff. The brakes seem to work good. I did kind of watch some videos on seating in brakes. They kind of basically just are easy on them. You don't want to lock them up and go hard on them, just easy. It's kind of what I would guess you would need to do. So all in all, pretty impressed with the bike. Brakes are nice, everything. Took it on the trail once so far in the week and a half I've had it, so kind of for me it's getting used to pedaling. We've been doing a lot of hiking and stuff, but this is a little bit different muscle than I'm used to. So it should come back, because I used to ride bike all the time. So hopefully it comes back. So in closing, I'm super happy with the bike. I love riding it. It's fun. I think it's one of the best values out there in mountain bikes. It does everything I need it to. It's probably more bike than what I need. And I was a little hesitant on getting a full suspension mountain bike. I kind of doubted after I ordered it and when I was riding it, because from my BMX background, I like to stand up and pedal uphill and stuff. And for me, getting used to sitting down and pedaling, the hardtail, you can do that a little bit more. You got a little, you know, you're not taking away that motion of your cranking, you're going up and down a little bit. But after riding it, I think if I had a hardtail, me being 54 years old, riding on the trails with roots and different things, I think it would be a little harsh on me. I know some, some manufacturers have a little flex, they try and put flex in the frame to kind of take away that harshness. So all in all, I'm going to have to get used to cranking and sitting down and pedaling up hills, or maybe even, you got to get in the right gear going up hills, standing up. But I'm pretty happy I went with the full suspension, I think just for the smoother ride. Sit down on the trails, I would probably, sit down where I need to stand up with a hardtail. So really happy with it. The bike's great, no problems yet, and really happy. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.